Hey class! Okay, so today we are doing lesson 72. Lesson 72 is Designed for Flight Part 2. So this was the chicken bone experiment. What we need today was some chicken bones. So we have chicken bones and I have all kinds of them. And I went ahead like I do and I started the experiment. Also for this experiment we used toothpicks. And we have 2 sets of pliers. I actually didn't use 2 sets of pliers, I just used my knife. This is a boning knife, so I knew I could use it to cut bones. And then a sink with a tap, we have one of those, the sharp knife, and the adult to help you, that's me. And here I am. So we removed all of the meat and all of the cartilage from the chicken bone already. That was step 1. It was really gross and took a long time. You're welcome. Then we're now on to step 3. So we skipped the T-bone. They didn't have any at the grocery store. Would have bought you one. They had 0. So there you go, no T-bones. We went ahead and we broke our chicken bone into 2, just like it told us to, with 2 different pieces, a shorter piece and a longer piece. We have the shorter piece right here. It is full of bone marrow. You can see it's pretty gross. The bone marrow is important. It is how the bird produces its red blood cells. Then we have the bone that I have already started to hollow out, okay? And we are going to finish hollowing it out over at the sink. So here we go, to the sink. So at the sink, across my kitchen, here we go. We have some tap water and we are just running water into the bone, and with our toothpick, we are pulling the marrow out. And I've already done a lot of it, but there's still more in there, and pretty gross. And here we go. That is your bone marrow. It looks kind of like blood because it kind of is. And then once we've pulled out a lot of this bone marrow, you can see that my bone is even cleaner now than it was a second ago. And if you look, it's somewhat transparent. Like you can kind of, I'm catching the light just right there. Let me see if I can clean out this little bit of marrow that's right here towards the top. Let me see if I can get that a little bit cleaner for you. You can see that if I catch the light, there it is, it's a little bit better. If I catch the light, you can see that these bones are really thin. They're somewhat transparent. You can see the light glowing through the bone, right? And if you look, the bone is very hollow. You know, it's a large cavity and a very thin bone. You can see it's somewhat transparent because the bone is not very thick. This is not nearly as thick as the bone would be if this were from a mammal, because it's a bird's bone. And that is the point. We were talking about the aerodynamic shape of a wing, how it's shaped like a foil so that it can have a low pressure below and a low pressure above from the faster moving air, which with the higher pressure below gives lift. We talked about the shape of feathers and how the feathers have a large surface area. We did our paper experiment where we dropped and we learned that paper with large surface area faces a lot more resistance, so it falls slowly. That helps the bird to be more aerodynamic because of the large surface area and the light weight and hollowness of the feathers. We talked about how the birds foil and how they flap to gain the air with the breaking the umbrella experiment. And then now we're talking about bones. So the bones of a bird are also different. Birds from their tips of their wings into the bottoms of their feet, they are designed entirely to fly. And that's about it. So this week, it's gonna be really easy. You have this video. We did the other 2 experiments in class. Just do your 3 experiments or your 3 question and answers like normal. And then this week in class, we're gonna do some review, and I am gonna hand out cabbage water. And we're gonna do the cabbage water experiment. So I am going to attach this video with a note for your parents. They'll know all about the cabbage water experiment. And then in class tomorrow, we're gonna pass out the lab paper so that you guys will just fill in your blanks for your lab. And we will have that turned in. That is part of your test. So make very sure that you bring it into class, not this Friday, but the following Friday, because you're gonna do your test and you're gonna turn in your labs, and both of them are part of the test. That being said, this is the easiest test you're going to get all year. All that it's testing you on is the questions that you've been doing for the whole day day 5 section and the vocab. There's not going to be any extra diagrams or anything else. The extra part is going to be a completed lab report. All right, I will see you guys Friday.